Welcome to Blood in the Snow Radio, where we give you the latest news and interviews with the best in Canadian genre cinema. Here are your hosts, Robert Bellamy and Festival Director Kelly Michael Stewart.
We are keeping things busy here at Blood in the Snow 2024. If you could, I'm going to get you to introduce yourself,
Sure.
your project and position,
Yeah.
and then just a synopsis of what it's about.
Yeah, cool. My name's Max Mallar. I am the co-producer and writer and actor of Ascension. And the film is about two girls going into the woods and they hear this ominous sound. They find a lone staircase and things get real spooky.
That sums it up.
Yeah.
So, being part of the writing team then, what was the kernel for this? Because you don't normally just see a staircase in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, I was really on a TikTok rabbit hole of like all things spooky. And a thing that kind of popped up a lot was this idea of there's a whole bunch of lore around staircases in the upper US that just shows up. And people have all these theories on like what it is. But I was like, this is really cool. And I want to see where we can take this. I also really wanted to do a film where I was possessed. So I was like, this is the perfect time.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I know I've seen some of the lore.
Yeah.
But usually it's on top of a video about Fortnite. So they just build.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't think it was all accurate.
Yeah, no, there is actually a whole bunch of stuff where it's like people will see these staircases or bridges or doors that just show up in the middle of the woods and then they'll try and refine them again and they can't. And there's theories on like, portals or fairies or whatever. But
Oh, dang.
it's fun. Yeah.
So how did you have a staircase in the middle of the woods then?
That's a great question. I had to learn how to build a staircase. So my co-producer and director, Kenzie, and I went to a construction site, bought an old set of staircases, and we built it. And then I spent time researching how to make things look like metal, and we painted it, and we just built it in the woods.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's a Field of Dreams thing. If you
Totally.
build it.
Yeah.
Yes. How long did it take to do this whole shoot for you?
So we did this very quickly. Tip to tail, it was 6 weeks.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So we were like, we wanted to write something and it was close to Halloween. I was like, I want this out for Halloween. So we wrote it really quickly. And then I was like, started building and got the whole cast and team together very, very quickly. I happen to have, my family has property up north. So we were able to build it on there. So there wasn't like, time constraints on getting the staircase out, which was the biggest issue. So yeah, it was a very quick turnover and we finished editing on the 28th or 29th and then, had it out by the 30th.
Dang.
31st. Yeah.
The turnaround's not usually that quick.
No. But fortunately, both Kenzie and I work together a lot and we've got this down to an art of how we communicate and get stuff done. So we were figuring it out real fast.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
What made you decide to get in front of the camera as well?
So I am an actor. That is probably where my strongest, role is. And then over time, within the last 5 or 7 years, I started writing because I was like, I want to see myself in these things. And now that's kind of taken a grip, the writing and producing, because I'm like, I want projects to happen. I want to see myself in them. So I generally write for things that I would like to be in.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
If they're not being offered, then
No.
let's make them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely not a patient person. So I wasn't just going to wait around for, my agent to be like, you know what, we have this role for you to do. I'm like, I'm going to write the role and I'm going to do it this year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Have you done shorts previous?
Yes. Yeah. So we have, we had another film of ours that was called The Ghost of You that we made 2 years ago that was great. I would say that's the biggest one we've done, but both Kenzie and I have created probably 9 together.
Oh,
so
excellent.
far. Yeah.
We are discussing Ascension with Max.
Yes. Hello, Kelly.
All right, just jumped in here
Yeah,
later.
that's great.
We're recording, as you know, recording these episodes live while we're doing Deadly Exposure at Bits here, and so I'm just running around like a jackrabbit and jumping in when I can here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was telling me that they built that, and I imagine tearing that down was not fun. Then once you got it all constructed.
Well, actually, tearing it down, I couldn't get to it right away, and it had rained right after that. So all it took was a good kick, and it just came down, which was great. It basically melted in the rain.
Which is a scary thought considering of all the jumping around you did on it.
Yeah, it was good on the day, but after the rain came, it was getting very soft. So.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I'm still baffled you got a staircase out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of work. And, but honestly, I feel like it looked so great by the end. We were so happy with the turnout of it that well worth it.
Oh, yeah, it did, because there's even the plant life on the side.
Yeah.
And so it looked like it had been there a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we spent a lot of time like finessing and finagling to make sure that it looked like it was living there. Yeah.
And that's perfect, because if that's your main prop, if that's not believable, then
truly, and it was a character in itself in the whole film, because it was very much the big draw to get us there. So, yeah.
Excellent. So now, is this a standalone little short, or do you have bigger plans for this particular story?
Right now, it's a standalone. I think that there is potential if we wanted to go back to it to make it into something. But yeah, as of right now, it was something that was. We were like, yeah, we want to do this now, and we want to see these things come to life. And it was super fun. It was such a great time. Yeah. Was
it expensive to do something like that? Like you said, to build that staircase?
So the previous film that I did, excuse me, the previous film that I did, we were at $30K. And I was like, I'm not doing that this time around. Absolutely not. I'm like, that just like drained me. So my cap for this was $3. And I did many jobs though. So we built everything. Yeah. I was doing all the producing, the writing, the acting. I got the cast and crew together. Like both Kenzie and I did every job. Kenzie's background is in sound, and he's an exceptional composer, singer. So like we did all the post-production. So like everything is pretty much within us, except on the day where it's like, I need another actor. We also had a dog on set as well. Outside of that day, everything else is done by me and him.
Oh, wow. That's a tiny crew.
It is, for sure. Yeah. And we had, I think the crew was 7 people in total, but it was still very small, and we still had to do a lot of jobs.
Still, that's what I always say. Independent film, you wear many hats.
Many hats, absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't really find too. It's like I think there's always too much of an emphasis on the money thing. That it's just like that. It's just really kind of like you. And I also think sometimes not having the budget or something like that too can actually make for better creative decisions.
Totally.
Because it's like if you can solve it in post, if you can solve it with some kind of visual effect or something like that, you'll spend it, right?
For sure.
And like that too. And I think that when you have to kind of be a bit more creative, and I was kind of use the analogy of the Jaws thing with the yellow. When the shark wasn't working, it was
the buoys.
So yellow buoys. Kind of. The yellow buoys were much more effective. If the shark actually worked, it wouldn't have been as good as a movie.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like there's also this, when you know that budget is that much, you're like, okay, this is what I can do, and this is how I can make it work and function. Even with us doing the possession kind of stuff, that was all like practical, right? Like I'm not going into post later and doing that because I don't have the skill set or like, the ability to do that. Building the staircase was a big one because we wanted to make it seem like there was this ominous thing. So I was like, I have to build that. This is not something that I can like, do. I don't have that person on my team yet, Yeah.
Well, it works the other way too. Like if you have your budget of 5,000, okay, I only got 1,000 for the staircase. But if your budget's 50 and you got say 10, well then you spend 10, whether you need to or not.
Yeah, I would hire someone to build a staircase then.
Exactly.
I wouldn't make it myself this time around. Yeah.
But literally, it's a good use of mind power and innovation.
For sure. I feel like also, particularly for me and Kenzie, every time we decide that we are doing another film, there are things that I'm like, I liked that, or that didn't work, or this is what I want to attempt. And in this one, the previous film we had ended up being a 25-minute short. And the biggest note I had for myself was get to the point. Like, get to the point. So for this, my challenge was, it's going to be 3 minutes. It's going to be 3 pages, and we are going to cut the fat. It is going to be so lean. And I feel like we really achieved that with this, which was kind of the biggest challenge.
And I'm glad you learned that lesson too with that, because that's a common issue with the week.
Totally.
Because with Robert also has his own festival as well, and we talk about this we were talking about this all day yesterday too. Is that we get so many. The number one note I end up giving filmmakers that don't get into their fast is cut the fat. Is like it's just too long.
Yeah.
And kind of that too. And we we have a medium shorts program. We do play longer shorts. but you have to earn that time, and sometimes, in most cases, there's always a few like that. Even a film I made years ago, it was about 17 minutes long, and but we couldn't trim it anymore. We started at but it was originally 22.
Yeah.
We got down to 17, and that was just the size it had to be. So sometimes you need it. You have to go that long, but then other times you don't, and stuff like that. And sometimes less is more.
For sure. And I think the biggest challenge as a writer is that how do you convey the characters, the tension, their relationship in a way that's concise? And for us, the 3-minute, I was like, oh, we're going to try and do that in this time, which is really difficult because you do want to add more words. Even so, the other lead actress on here is Sydney Knight. And when we were kind of going through the script, she's like, what if I just said this? And I'm like, babe, I love you, but not a single other breath. We are just, we're keeping it real lean.
Yeah. One of the filmmakers at Submit Star Film Festival, he's made amazing shorts. He made his first feature this year, but unfortunately, it was full of stuff that could easily be cut out.
Yeah.
So that's why, and especially now from 25 to 3, your programmer's like dream.
Yeah. I'm like, we cut it down. Yeah.
So are there other plans for shorts in the future that you have coming up?
Oh, yeah. So I've written something. We're in the process of writing a few things. We do have a couple TV series and feature films that we're writing right now. But I do have a short that I'm coming out with. Also, my other job is I'm a taxidermist. So I have written now a short film on essentially, it's a very creepy version of this, something that's living inside of someone else's skin, and is a taxidermist, and the whole thing is feeling like you constantly have to live in a place that's not yours, and like how to like escape that version of yourself and just like live in your own skin.
I've heard many combinations of jobs in filmmaking.
Taxidermist?
I've never heard taxidermist. This is the first.
Yeah, I don't know if I haven't, outside of the place that I work now, I have not met other taxidermists. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely not.
Actually, one of the, she's passed away now, but a friend of mine in New York, she programmer for New York Horror Fest. She was a taxidermist.
Love that. Yeah. Yeah, it's very strange, but it's endlessly interesting. And truthfully, now that I've been doing this for the last little while, I have so many ideas around all of this. Like my day job is living kind of in a nightmare sometimes.
Well, and that's a separate skill as well.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Because I have seen taxidermists that shouldn't even touch an animal.
That is true.
So
it goes south fast. Let me tell you. So.
If people are looking for you and to see what you're up to, how do they find you?
My handle is max.mallar, and that's all of my handles across the board.
Everywhere
in the world,
keeps
everywhere.
It simple.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
And good luck in the festival.
Thank you so much.
Join us next time for Blood in the Snow Radio. Bits Radio is a production of Three Evil Cats Productions in association with the Blood and Snow Canadian Film Festival. For more information and to listen to other episodes, visit bloodinthesnow.ca and tweet us at BitsFilmFest. Music by Jan Gorman, produced and edited by Kelly Michael Stewart. I am Eduardo Correa Lima. Till next